this love pain. Anybody gotta feel like a pop for this love pain. Anybody gotta pray like a sister for this love pain. Yeah. Ooh, I need it for this love pain. Anybody got a prescription? Yeah, for this love pain. Anybody gotta feel like a pop for this love pain. Anybody gotta pray like a sister for this love pain. Yeah. Ooh, I need it for this love pain. Anybody got a prescription?
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Everything's gonna be all right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you happen to be in the world. And so come on in here, everybody, and like and share this video with whoever you think may need this message today. And this is Vivian, and this is the Successful Mind Power Hour. And if you are new to the broadcast, please give StreamYard permission for me to see your comments, and please make some comments. Let me know what you think or what you want me to talk about or whatever it is. I'm here for you. So, the power of planning. The reason why I'm talking about this is because for the last couple of days, I got off my, actually for the last probably 4 or 5 days, I got off my routine because I'm doing some stuff and I was trying to navigate a whole bunch of things at the same time. And I found that because I got off my routine, I wasn't doing really well with the navigation because, how many of you get up in the morning, just fly by the seat of your pants? I'm not going to make any plans whatsoever. I'm just going to get up and I'm just going to do stuff. Does that work? I'm thinking no, but it may work for some people. And in some situations, I guess it does work. Like if you're going on an adventure, do you really want to plan the adventure? No, it's an adventure. That's the whole point, is to fly by the seat of your pants and have an adventure. But if you got something specific in mind that you want to do, probably best to plan it. Because, if you've been around for a while and you've been online for a while, or you've taken any kind of personal development course, any kind of business course or whatever, the number one thing that all of them have in common, that all of them say, is that you have to have a plan. It doesn't mean that you know exactly how you're going to get to your goal, because most of our goals are humongous and we're like scared and all of that kind of stuff. And we don't really know how, but we have a plan. We have a plan as to the steps that we're going to take to do it, right? But when you don't do that, when you don't plan your daily steps, then you get off course, and I found that because I was taking on a lot more things than I should have, I got off course. I got off of my routine. Good morning, Ruby. And so when I got off of my routine, my planning step just went out the window, because not only was I off of my morning meditation routine, my gratitude routine, my sleep routine, my exercise, I was off of all of my routines, and it just threw me completely off. And so I went through the days just doing stuff, and then get to the end of the day and then was thinking about, what the heck did I even accomplish today? And so it's harder to go back and reflect at the end of the night to say, what did I accomplish today? And you really have to think about it because you were all over the place. That's the difference in planning and not planning. So when I do take the time to plan my day, whether I plan it at night or I plan it first thing in the morning, I find that I'm more productive. Good morning, Marion. How are you? I'm more productive. I actually get stuff done. I can actually check stuff off of my list. And that visualization of checking things off the list, it can be a powerful motivator, because planning stuff and then checking things off the list is like a little kid that you give praise to after they accomplish something big or little, whatever, small. It doesn't matter how big it is, but when you check something off of your list, that's a visual representation to you that you've accomplished something. Doesn't have to be big. It's just gonna be something during the day that moves your needle forward. And in Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret, he compares not planning to setting a ship a sail on the water with no guidance, no destination, no crew, no captain at the helm, no nothing. Just turn it on and let it go. Would you do that? Probably not, right? Because that boat most likely end up on the beach somewhere, or in a sand dune, or hitting the rocks, or whatever it is, because it doesn't have a destination, doesn't have any kind of guidance, no nothing. That's the same thing with your day. When you have a goal and you plan your activities, whether actually specifically how you're going to get to that goal, it doesn't matter whether you know exactly how, right? Because planning your activities could be as simple as doing some research. Research is an activity that will move you to your goal, because now you're kind of getting the how. The how comes when you need it. So if you say you had a goal and you didn't know even the first step, you had no idea what the first step was, find somebody that has done that goal, has done that thing, and ask them. That's a step. You're like, well, that's nothing. Yes, it is something. That's major. I mean, to not know and then to go to somebody that knows and ask them, that's your first step. Check that off the list. Oh my God, I went to this person and I asked them, how can I get started? Because if you never start, you're not going to get to the destination. It's like taking a walk and not having any idea where you're walking to. Or planning to take a walk and not making the first step, right? So if you're going to go to your neighbor's house, but you get to your front door and you don't step any further than that, you're never going to get to your neighbor's house. So it's the planning of your activities and then doing the activities, no matter whether they're big or little or whatever they are, then you do them. And if you get off your routine, like I did for the last few days, try to find some way to get back into that routine. Because if you get off the routine of a good habit that you're forming, then you're going to instantly go back to the old bad habit. Because that was my bad habit. I would get up in the morning and I would have a goal in mind, but I wouldn't write anything down. And I wouldn't plan anything. I said, oh, I know what I'm supposed to do. And then get to the middle of the day and going, I never had that satisfaction of checking anything off. Let me start doing that. And my friend Marion there kind of re-emphasized that to us, to the group that we're in. about planning, getting a calendar, whether that calendar's physical calendar or electronic calendar, whatever works best for you, but to plan out your day, and you'll find that things go a lot easier. You move in a certain way, in a different way during the day when you know exactly what you're going to do. But if you're planning in your head all the time, because in our mind, in our heads, we have at least over 50,000 thoughts a day. Probably more than that, actually. But if you got 50,000 thoughts going on in your head, that one little thought about what your next step could get lost in the shuffle. It's like throwing a needle in a haystack. That one little thought, you got to dig through a whole lot of thoughts to get that one thought out. So if you write it down, it's more likely that you'll remember to do it. And there's real big power in planning. It's not only the power of actually getting something done, it's the power of making you feel good about your day. If you feel like you've accomplished something every single day, then that pushes you towards keep doing it. If every day you don't feel like you accomplished anything, human beings your brain is designed to protect you. And human beings have a natural affinity to quit something that's hurting them. And if you're feeling bad about yourself every single day, that's mentally hurting you. So your brain is going to say, okay, we need to stop this because this is hurting us. And if that's the case, what's going to happen is you're going to quit. So if you don't plan it, you're not going to do it. And then if you don't do it, now you're feeling bad about yourself. You see where the cycle goes around and around and around. You don't want that. So write down everything. I was listening to Mel Robbins this morning, and she said what she does is she takes her journal and she does a piece of paper, whatever it is, and just does a complete brain dump. Just write until all the stuff that you think that you have to do during the day is on a piece of paper. And then look at that piece of paper and pick out 3 things, not 6, not 7, not 10, not 15. And say, okay, I'm going to do these 3 things, and make sure those 3 things are 3 things that are going to move your needle forward, that are going to move you towards your goal. And then once you've accomplished those 3 things, if you feel like doing another one. Also, she was talking about you don't want to stress yourself out to the point where you're beating yourself up about the things that you didn't get done. That's not the point of the list. The list is to get those things out of your head so that you can concentrate on those things that you really do have to do. So get it out of your head. And that, because years ago, actually probably more recently too, I kept a journal. I started keeping a journal by my bed because I was having trouble sleeping. And because I couldn't shut my brain off, which is constantly going and going and going. And when I felt like I couldn't shut my brain off, I felt like if I wrote it down, I could get it out of my head and onto a piece of paper, and I would feel much better. And I found that was true. And even, I don't care what it was. I could be thinking about cleaning the house and, I got to buy some more of this, or I got to do this laundry. And whatever it was that was driving me nuts in my head, I had to write it down so that I could go to sleep. And that's the same thing with most people who are creative. And by the way, everybody's creative. Every human being on the planet is creative because we create ways to do things all the time, right? So if you're having trouble sleeping, if you're stressed out because you think you have too many things to do, If you just cannot shut your brain off, no matter what it is you're doing, write it down. The power of planning and writing stuff down is just so, it's just so critical to life, because it's not just, if you have a business, it's planning your children's activities. Even, if you have kids and you're a stay-at-home mom, and your kids have activities, right? You want to plan those activities so that you're not all stressed out about what are we going to do next, and this and the, yeah, play with your kids, be spontaneous when you want to. But sometimes, in order to give yourself a break, plan it out. Okay, this morning we're going to do blah, 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 blah. And this afternoon, blah, 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 blah. And then now maybe later on we'll be spontaneous. Right? Because you don't have to be like regimented all the time, but at least when there's a goal in mind. Because I know when my kids were little, that was like 30 some odd years ago, but when my kids were little, my goal in mind was to get them so tired that they would want to take a nap, so mommy could take a nap. Okay, so if your kids are as rambunctious as mine were, your goal for the day is to get them so tired that they're going to want to take a nap at nap time. And then that way you could rest too. And then all of you could be up and refreshed and ready for your next adventure. And you can have your spontaneous time. But the goal in mind for those morning activities is to, okay, by noon, I want them so tired that I don't even have to tell them to go to sleep. They're going to fall asleep, right? So then just, whatever, I'm going to play with the kids for this, however long this is. And then we're going to go outside, because, fresh air really makes kids tired. I know it's really weird, but fresh air makes kids tired. When you play outside with them, yeah, they'll come back in the house and they'll be going, oh no, I'm not sleepy. Bam, they're out. So if you're a parent and you want the secret to making them sleepy, take them outside to play. Don't just play with them inside. Take them outside. Even in, I know, pandemic, quarantine, all that kind of stuff, but it's easing up a bit. You can go out in your yard, go to the park, because not all parks are not closed, and all parks don't have a whole bunch of people in them. So take your kids to the park, let them run around on the swings, that kind of thing. And that way, by the time you want them to lay down, they're okay with that, because now they're tired. Okay. And I kind of went off the deep end on that one, but you're planning. If you're your business planning, your goal planning, whatever it is, write it down every night or first thing in the morning. That way it's out of your head. It's not bothering you when you're trying to do other things. Like I told you, I got off my routine. So I had to get back. Had to get back to that this morning, because I wasn't functioning like I wanted to function. And so get up. I didn't do it last night because I stayed up to 2 a.m. Yeah, that's another story. We'll talk about that later. But when I woke up this morning, I said, no, I am not doing the same thing that I've been doing for the last 4 days, because I just don't feel like I got anything done. So I need to plan my day. I need to say, this is what you got to do here, 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 and here. And these are your needle movers here, here, and here. And so that's it. Those are the needle movers. The rest of these things are nice to do, but I don't have to do these right now. So I can put them sometime this week or sometime this month, right? So you can do that. Do it in the morning or do it at night, whichever one it wants. If you're a person that does a weekly planning, do it on Sunday, before the work week starts. Do your planning on Sunday night or Sunday morning or whatever, before you go to church or after church or at night before you go to bed. And just write it down. Doesn't matter where you write it down. you're just going to identify those things that you need to do, those things that it's probably good that you do it, but it's not urgent. And then those things that are nice to do, but they're not urgent, and you could probably get those done anytime. They're still on the list, but they're not as important as those other two categories. So that planning thing really helps to ease your mind, because now your mind says, okay, I got three. Three sounds much better than 100, doesn't it? 3 things to do versus 100 things to do. It keeps your mind from trying to protect you and make you stop doing anything because you're stressed out. When you're stressed out, like they say with customers, a confused mind always says no. Well, a stressed mind always stops. You're stressed, your brain is saying, okay, we're harming ourselves. Let's stop. So plan. Even if it's just a little tiny plan, couple of things, one thing even. Just plan your day or plan your activity, something that's going to move your needle forward, move you towards your goal, whatever that goal happens to be. And then when you accomplish it, physically check it off. Write it on a piece of paper, put it on a spreadsheet on your computer or whatever, but check it off when you're done. You'll find that you'll feel so much better once that check mark is in there. I can tell you, when I was working the 9 to 5, I played with my kids in my yard at the park, and we sat in the car and at the car. Oh, that is so cool. I used to love to do that, Ruby, because my kids were fascinated with the car wash. I don't know why that was, but they were fascinated with the car wash when they were little, because they liked to see the brushes going across the car, and that is a great activity. And see, when you're out and about like that, man, kids enjoy that time with you too. They really enjoy just spending time with their parents. And if you're spending all of your time working because you haven't planned your day, what part of your day is going to be spent with your children? Yeah, I've had that thing too. I had a conversation with my daughter the other day, and she said, because I was talking to her about business, and she says, Mom, all you ever talk about is business anymore. I just want my mom back. I just want to have a conversation. And that kind of woke me up too, because I wasn't planning my day. I wasn't planning my day to include downtime. It was like this 24/7 running, just going. And you can't do that. You're going to burn yourself out. You're going to burn yourself out. So as part of your plan some downtime. Plan some time when you turn off your phone, you turn off your computer, you get away from anything related to work. And you plan some time, either if you're single, plan some time to go walking, have a cup of tea, read a book, whatever it is that you want to do in that downtime. Plan, if you're married, you and your spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever it is, go walking in the park, go have dinner, go whatever it is that you want to do together, and just be present with each other without the phones. Leave your phones at home or turn them off. If you don't feel it's necessary that you can actually leave it at home, turn it off. Nothing is that important that it can't wait an hour. Nothing. It's not that important that it can't wait an hour. So just turn off your phone and be present with that person. Plan that in your day. Plan that in your week or whatever it is. Plan a date night, plan, go taking your kids to the park. Plan your life. Because it's a lot easier when it's planned. Seat of your pants works for some people because they don't really have a goal. They're not trying to get anywhere, but so the seat of their pants is fine. And not knocking that, because everybody's life is their own. But if you have a goal, if you have something that you want to get done, if you want your life to be a little bit smoother, just plan it. You know, it doesn't take long, because I found once I stopped doing the crazy thing, like running all over the place, because I kept telling myself that I didn't have time to sit down and plan the day. I knew what I was supposed to do. Doesn't work. I would tell you, just that seat of your pants when you have a goal in mind just does not work. So plan your day. The power of planning is powerful. Okay. So try to do this every night before you go to sleep so that you can have a good sleep. If you get all this stuff out of your head before you go to bed, best sleep in the world. Best sleep in the world, because you don't have anything in there to disturb you. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, Ruby and Marin. I appreciate you guys. And so I will talk to you guys day after tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday. And yeah, I'll talk to you on Friday. But I am going to Mazatlan on Saturday. I will be there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, coming back on Tuesday. And so I won't do a broadcast. Well, I might actually film from Mazatlan. I'm not really sure yet. I might actually do a video from Mazatlan and just show you guys where I am and what I'm doing and that sort of thing. So I will talk to you guys later. There's no guarantees about Mazatlan, but if I feel the vibe, then I will do that. But otherwise, I will see you on Friday. But in the meantime, guys, I wish you peace. I wish you love, and I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.